So we're on the Palamacia.
So we fell off the jetway.
Yeah, Sazh and Vanille ripped to both of them, I guess. They didn't make it out of that room.
Yeah. Sazh succeeded in not killing himself, only to be got by the power core exploding in his face.
It's the merman ending to Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you should see it. Wait till you see the merman.
But thankfully, we still have 4 party members. They're aliving and thriving.
Aliving and thriving.
And they're, back up on the wing, I guess, because we do see these, like, I don't know, rudders that you'd see on a plane wing, kind of.
On a plane wing, or perhaps a pod racer.
That's true.
Oh, indeed. It reminds me a lot of the section that's exactly like this from Chrono Trigger, where you go out on the wing of the plane.
It reminds me a lot of another type of pod, which is a podcast, which we are, the Every F and F flavored podcast, and I'm Carl Germ.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Alex.
And I think we're all pretty sleepy.
I'm a little sleepy today.
I have had so much like Final Fantasy in my life the past week of just these sections, like in terms of like plot and stuff going on, they're pretty short, I would say. But in terms of gameplay and getting around, there's a lot of encounters and a lot of area to travel that doesn't really have a whole lot to talk about. So like I'm halfway through like a 4.5 hour stream of this section from what we started talking about on last week's episode.
Yeah, this has been like maybe the most uninterrupted amount of gameplay, I guess.
It's great.
Or maybe not uninterrupted, but biggest ratio of gameplay to FMVs or cutscenes.
It's long. I did all of this chapter in one sitting.
This plane's big.
I thought I was going to be smart. I was like, I don't have to go to work till 7, so I'll start doing my homework at like 11:30. And like at a certain point, I was like, ooh, I got to wrap this up. I got to get to work.
It was. I think this is the section where I did the same thing, and I was like, oh, it's a Sunday. We're going to be recording later. I can kind of just stream as long as I want and get as far as I want in Final Fantasy 13. And then I got up to the boss and had one attempt at it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not beating this boss today. I got to record a podcast because Alex and Curtis are already waiting.
I'm so excited to talk about the boss of this area.
Me too.
I've been excited to talk about the boss of this area since we started.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
and speaking of length, I feel like the Palamacia has like more floor space than Palampolam.
You know what? It makes me a little tired to look at it, to be honest with you, because I imagine like working on the Palamacia and being like, oh, I just need to go over to the first thing I can see across the way. But I'm like, oh, that's so many feet away, though. That's so far. It's like basically down the block.
It's like, hey, Jeff, can you go make copies of this? I'm like, all right, I'll see you in a week.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of floor space out on this wing right now.
You'd think there'd be like little like golf carts zimbing around.
Oh, you know what? There probably are. If I have to imagine there's probably something like that. Also, I would like to say, while I'm looking right now, I'm watching footage of a battle taking place on the outside wing of the Palamacia. There are many trip and sprain hazards, and I don't do my OSHA training twice a year to not notice that like that is not safe workplace environment right there.
I don't think this is meant to be traversed on foot very much. That's why there's only flying enemies.
Only flying enemies and perhaps some robots.
But much like us, the wind is dying down, Hope says.
Yeah. And Lightning points out, it's stopping, and we're decelerating, like they are up to something. Like,
yeah, because last week we heard Code White, which shut down everything and just parked the Palamacia, which is part of the big plan. Where was it headed?
I assume that it's on a glide time now, where like you can technically lose all the engines in an airplane and you still have a glider at least.
I think it's just floating on the seas.
Yeah, it might be glide.
Yeah, isn't that a thing that can happen and then like you can like get refueled up and shit? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's why like
scientist.
An engine failure is very, very rarely the cause of a plane crash. It can be like a thing that happens along the way or whatever, but if it's just engines or whatever, then it's like, okay, well, we'll just have to put it down somewhere.
That reminds me of an episode of The Girls Next Door, which my fiance has been watching, and I've been watching with her, which is the show about Hugh Hefner's girlfriends, which is a very, very interesting time capsule to go back and watch. And all the girlfriends are pretty kick-ass, and Hugh Hefner was fucking, like, awful, of course. But they were in Alaska, where one of them is from, and they had to take like a plane to get to like a section of town that they like could not get to otherwise. And the one was like terrified of flying, and it was this very small plane and everything. I think it was one of the ones that like lands on the water and shit. And the engine fails during it, and the pilot's just like, "Hey, just so you guys know, the engine failed, but everything's fine. Don't worry about it." It was just like, oh my god, it was like worst case scenario.
Yeah, that would like. Don't get me wrong. Even after saying that, like. Right now, if I were on a plane and that happened, I would not take any solace in the fact that like that isn't the worst thing that could happen. I would be like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
You're like, for me personally, this is the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing can possibly go wrong.
But I suspect the Palamity is just kind of floating midair. It just seems like that kind of plane.
I think in the data logs, didn't it say that this maybe it's the Palamacia, maybe I'm thinking of the Lindblom. It might be the Lindblom, where it doesn't actually have any like the sky is just its like jurisdiction. Like it doesn't have a specific like city or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, we're just constantly patrolling the sky.
That's the Lindblom, I believe, where it said like it doesn't make dock anywhere.
Yeah, and I think since this is like a sky fleet, I would imagine it's the same sort of thing. So it might not necessarily be heading anywhere or have any particular destination. It could kind of just be like, you know, the space station or something. It's just there. Just there because it's cool. Just like the space station.
Who even knows if it can land anywhere? But it has two giant thrusters, so I think it just kind of just floats. But either way, we're decelerating.
We're decelerating.
And Lightning suspects, like, are they up to something? And Snow's like, I don't know. Could it just be good luck? And, of course, immediately a bunch of doors on the floor of the wing just open up. Maybe vents, and a bunch of Vespids come pouring out. And Fang's like, that looks a lot more like bad luck. And it's like, yeah, you've got a point. And Lightning's like, not to me. That we can do something about. Which is, I don't know what I think this whole conversation is about.
I think it's set up to make Lightning sound cool, and she does sound cool. Don't get me wrong.
It's like, I don't know, like, why the plane decelerating means good luck, unless it just means it's easier to get or run around outside. You were already outside the plane while it was moving, and we were enjoying the wind.
Yeah, everyone knows that in video games, the way physics works on planes is as long as you don't go too fast with a spin move and then jump off of the wings of Tails' plane, he can then fly fast enough to catch you on the wing, and you're totally fine.
Of course.
Yeah, we have just a bunch of walls now that are kind of basically the flipper / air brakes are just kind of making faux walls between us and the area in front of us.
They also make... not bridges, but kind of like stairs we can take up and down to get some hidden items.
Right, there are some like large kind of rectangular shafts that go up and down too, like releasing air or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I'm sorry. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about the brakes. Yeah.
It looks super cool. It's a very cool looking area and like fun to traverse. Well, I guess I use fun lightly, because it's still
more
pretty
interesting.
Empty. Interesting is the word. There's a couple of places where you can get like to a lower level on that platform that Alex was talking about, and like in one of them I saw a treasure chest there, and I was like, sick. I'm gonna have to look at all of these, and then I was just running around a bunch and not finding anything, and I was
There's
just
only like 2 or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, well, shit. Like, this is just a whole lot of running through a big thing, which I guess in terms of immersion, it's kind of cool, but in terms of like gameplay. And again, I was probably just burnt out at this point because I'd been playing for like 3 hours at this point, but I was just like, okay, this is the part of the game where I saw a shit ton of enemies in the distance, and I was like, I'm not going to kill all of them because I simply do not want to.
So I did go after every enemy on the entire thing. And I game overed a bunch, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Oddly often. And I was like, what the hell? I already know these enemies. I've fought these enemies before. Why am I losing? This is crazy. And it's
There's
just
a couple
like,
of brutal combos here.
There's some combos that are just fucking so hard.
The Vespids and the Vikings and Dragoons and...
Yeah, the one that kept getting me, which was difficult to avoid at all, was the double Dragoon and a Viking.
That one's tough. That one's tough.
I think there was one point where I had launched like the Viking, and one of the dragoons shot like the tiny little missiles at me, and it just hit lightning when she was in the air and like killed her, and she just like fell into a game over, and I was just like, well, fuck, dude, this sucks.
Wile E. Coyote style.
Yeah. She holds up a sign that just says "uh-oh" as she's falling.
There's a battle toward the end of this area. There's like some dragoons protecting a item chest, and when you engage with them, like 2 or 3 more dragoons fly in real quick to fight with you, and you end up fighting like 4 or 5 of them at once. I died on that one maybe 3 times.
I think is that the one where there's like the chest like kind of in the corner down like far down on the wing?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because it's pretty funny. You can actually run up to that chest, or at least I could, and then turn around and see the dragoons, and they're like stuck by an invisible wall.
Really?
Yeah, they're just stuck by an invisible wall and just kind of like floating around, and you're just standing there, and like you can't get past them because they're fast enough that they'll catch you once you go past.
Or it's
that,
like the boundary of them, maybe their boundary of their like, or they're still trying to get to you.
Oh yeah, they're still trying to get to you.
Cool.
But you're just like stuck in a corner, and they're not quite reaching you, and it's very funny.
That is funny.
I wonder if like if you pop a Deceptisol while enemies see you, do they lose track of you immediately?
Oh, that's a good question.
I tried using a Deceptisol to access a chest, and it did not work. So I'm assuming
because you're still in the battle zone in the area.
They still like gives you the warning, but they won't like charge you. I think. So yeah, it's still like in caution mode. So I'm not sure.
I thought about it a couple times here, but like I still, even to this point of the game, only have like 3 Deceptisol. So I was like, I better save it.
So it's interesting that you say that, Curtis, because did we talk about the Deceptisol trick at all?
I don't think so.
Are you familiar with it, what they do in the speedrun?
No.
So, a thing that they do in the speedrun, which is really nice, is they pop a Deceptisol, and with the Deceptisol you have 30 seconds before it runs out. So you can kind of just run past enemies, and then run far enough past like hard to get through enemies to then get on like the other side of the spawn, and then double back and encounter them and immediately hit retry. And the game, when you do retry, gives you back your Deceptisol. So you used it for what you need it for, and then you just, if you don't like win that battle, then you just get it back.
Oh wow, look at that.
So it resets the counter. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very abusable, and
it's like the ATB refresh.
Yeah, it's like a similar sort of
refresh.
thing. To me, it kind of reminds me of in Final Fantasy VII when you have W item and you can just reset the counter because the game is just like, oh, well, they already used one, but we need to give it back. But you can stack it in a way that it's just like you can just hit confirm and then confirm, cancel to continually get the one back, like uncapped.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did not really use that too much. I think there were points where there was like battles where it ended up not even really helping me. It was in a later section, but I was like, okay, let me just do this. And I was able to do that, but I still had to kill the enemies anyway to activate a switch. And it was just like, I tried doing it because I killed them and then didn't activate the switch and then walked away. And then when I got back, they had respawned and I was just like, well, shit.
Yep. They do be respawning quite often here.
The one battle that I just skipped was like a shit ton of Vespids just like on a lower platform. And I was just like, yeah, I got nothing to prove to these guys. They're not blocking anything.
The thing about the Vespids is that they're not hard to kill. They just have that fucking Ariaga or Ariora or whatever. And it does so much damage. It takes so much time up.
There's a giant group of like deck drones on the lower level too.
There's like 6 of them just hanging out, and they like are just off to their, like they're off on their own. They're not fucking with you, but you can run over there and fight them.
There's like, for kind of the simplicity of this area, I like that there's a lot of different kind of little areas you can kind of climb in and still see everything. Like there's a part where like after that big first wave of deck drones, you kind of go up onto like a wall partition where there's a save point and then go over to the second half.
Yeah.
But you can actually walk along the wall too, like a chest. When there's, which I almost missed because I was like, my instinct was just to keep going forward. It's neat. Yeah, I forget what's at the end there.
Yeah, I usually, whenever it's like some kind of like significant item, I'll write it down, but I don't believe I wrote anything down for this one.
Oh, that was the one that was 13 barbed tails, which I'm really bad at knowing what the good upgrade materials are, but I think 13 of something like that is probably, it could be significant.
Final Fantasy 13 Barbed Tales?
13 barbed tails.
Oh my
I think it's
goodness.
cool that they just like keep drops in bulk on some of these areas.
Final Fantasy 13-2, Barb's Tale.
It's also important just to remember that it is playing like hard ass techno music the whole time we're doing this.
Yeah, we're
section.
still in the Fires of Fate, that drum and bass, liquid
drum
drum
and
and
bass,
bass thing
yeah.
going. Wow.
Oh yeah, that's the one with the cool like techno intro that goes into the battle theme, right?
Yep.
Yeah, real good.
It might be a key change, a different key than the original one. I don't remember. I'll have to compare them.
But let's see here. Anything else about this area?
I mean, once we get to the very end of the area, we encounter
Yeah.
a familiar type that we haven't seen since the mall.
Since the mall, since
Oh yeah,
hell
An old
was that
friend.
place called?
Gates of Antiquity.
The Gates of
Antiquity.
Antiquity.
Gates of Antiquity Mall.
Yeah, so we kind of come up on I'd call it a clearing, like we're like kind
We're
of
about to turn a corner, right?
Yeah, we're like kind of getting ready to turn a corner back into the.
It almost looks like there's
proper.
like a bay or something, right?
Yeah,
like, kind of
yeah.
like a loading bay or something onto our left, but immediately from the distance we get charged by what looks, I guess it's like a Garuda type, but it's instead of being the first one looked almost like a manta ray or something. This one looks like it's just a big massive yellow flesh with a bunch of like clothes hangers sticking off of it.
Yeah, like some science experiment, like conductors, like electricity to shock you things.
This is made of silly putty and paper clips.
It reminded me of. Do you guys remember those toys? I don't even know what like they were for. They were like a science toy that had like a almost like a top in the middle of it.
Yep.
It was like
I was trying. I was
and you
thinking
like flick
exactly
your
that.
wrist. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't even know what the fuck to Google to figure out what that thing's called. Hopefully, people listening will be like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You like spread your fingers out a little bit, and it makes the top spin away from you. And
Oh,
you close it, and
yeah.
it makes it spin toward you.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I was just thinking about those yesterday. I was thinking about that because of how the cat was sleeping on my legs. And I was like, if I spread my legs out, he'll come closer. But if I put him closer together, he'll move forward.
Magnetic gyro wheel.
A magnetic gyro wheel.
So, Light, how you figure this makes us lucky? Because when we kill it, we're one step closer to Vanille. How's that? Well, when you put it that way.
Yeah. Ever the optimist when death is involved, when murder is involved.
If there's one thing Lightning loves, it is death and murder. I guess those are two things, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, we're in a fight with
The Kalavinka Striker.
Kalvinka.
Kalavinka. Sounds like a Soul Calibur name.
Kalavinka.
Kalavinka.
But yeah, this is very electric heavy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's got hella electricity blasting off of it.
Now, I don't know about y'all. I annihilated this sucker.
Yeah, this thing was very easy. For good reason, because, spoiler, we're going to have to fight another one that is...
Yeah.
Or maybe this one, I can't remember if it just flies away and then comes back and is, for some reason, much stronger.
No, this one's dead as hell.
Okay, yeah, so we kill the shit out of this one.
Yeah, with Fang like doing slow and curse, this thing doesn't stand a chance if we're just,
Yeah. Slow and curse both work on it, yeah.
just don't use like electric powers because I guess it absorbs that.
Yeah, unless you do in peril, which I think we might not even have access to, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, right now we don't.
I think it's a gross color. You get a real good look at its second mouth on his ass.
Oh, the toothy
New
mouth?
meaning to eating ass.
This ass, yeah, I think we made that joke last time. This ass
Yeah,
does the eating. Yeah, it does fly off, but it doesn't get vaporized. So we.
I don't think it flies off.
Oh yeah,
Its
falls
lifeless
to the wing
body
and then
scrapes
gets, like,
along the side and gets blown away.
I was really hoping that it would be like get sucked into like the turbine blade like Sherry Bobbins and just like cause an explosion that makes the Palamacia start like rapidly like just diving towards the earth.
Oh yeah, and this is when we see a second one come flying in with. You definitely get like a good look at it. It's kind of gross, kind of.
Tooth butt, yeah.
Yeah, it has a Cenobite smile on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
There's a ton of writing on it as well, I'm noticing.
Yeah, it's probably just more.
It says... hold on, I wrote it down.
Oh, did you? You did some translating?
I did. It says, Cocoon's Volt Dragon.
Nice.
There you go.
Just written right on there.
A Volt Dragon.
Yeah, the Zapdos.
It is the Zapdos of Cocoon. It's like,
The worst of the three birds.
This is one of the cutscenes where it looks like Snow is very involved in the fights, but he has not been.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh, yeah.
He does. I do like that. Every scene since we've been like aboard the Lindblom for the second time, every time Snow says something, he like looks at Hope for like approval. He's like, "Right, buddy."
It's like when you're showing your friend a movie that you really like and a funny part's coming up, and you like glance over at them and see
you
if they're
look at
laughing.
him to see if they're laughing. And I like that he does it again. Like he says, like he has his little like silly like dialogue where he's like, "Oh boy, we just keep getting luckier" or whatever. And he goes,
one
"I'm so
big
happy
fat
I
stroke
could cry."
of luck after another.
Yeah, and he looks at Hope like, "Huh?
I'm so happy I could cry."
Yeah. I love that. He needs that approval. I respect it.
It'd be funny if he just pulled a Titus and was just like, "And stay up there," like after beating Seymour Flex or whatever. It's like, dude, you didn't do anything. You just tried impressing Hope by flexing.
Which I mean, like he's a big man. That would impress me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was like he's like 6'4" or something, or 6'5" or something.
Like,
did we say he's like 6'7"?
7? Yeah, I think he's 6'7".
I think we should just say that he gets taller every episode.
He's
Kind of like how I've been calling
it 7'1".
It's like Job with his suit, you know. It's like $50, $1,000
This is a
suit.
$1,400 suit.
I think the Talking Heads should have made their suit a little bit bigger every single show, just a tiny bit, so you can see it like evolve over time.
Yeah, so you can chronologically know like when each photo was taken.
Yeah, when what each show was.
If we ever go on tour for like an extended amount of time, we could do that. Get gradually bigger and bigger.
Or Stop Making Sense podcast tour. They should implement the World of Final Fantasy tactics so you can just have Hope on top of Snow and they can combine their skills.
That's for the we haven't gotten to that mechanic yet because it's a little later. I think it's in like it's past chapter 10, but that's the chicken fighting battle system. So we have the three-way battles. We also get the chicken fight where
you have to unlock the chicken roll, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You can unlock the top and the bottom rolls.
I will say that we're like breezing through that battle a little bit as far as description goes, but that is for a good reason because, like you said, we're gonna fight another one, and that first one didn't have access to all of its skills.
Yeah,
so like
it was
the
a
second
baby
one's-
one, I assume.
Yeah, but in the middle of getting ready to fight it, something else happens.
Once again, we I feel like we're just missing context, but Sazh and Vanille come busting out of the wall.
Here's the question. So I wrote in my notes, right? Do Sazh and Vanille come busting out of the wall, or does the Chocobo chick knock down the whole wall? Because I was like, are we to assume that the Chocobo chick did that? Because the wall next to us blows up. And the Chocobo chick comes flying out and looks all triumphant. It's like, yeah! And I'm like,
Yeah, it looks real good.
what powers lie in that thing?
Yeah, we don't know what happened in there. Like, this is actually kind of like my complaint about the beginning of last episode when like we see Sazh and Vanille like back to normal. Like I feel like there was like a whole like kind of wrap up arc to like their relationship that was just kind of glossed over.
Yeah.
Like the resolution is that Vanille explained that everything's gonna be fine to Sazh because of he just told the truth, and then now everything's fine.
Yeah, Sazh got his hand bitten off by a seal and now has to wear a hook for a hand, but that was done between episodes, so
But the same, not quite as important, but just assuming they somehow fought their way out of that engine room and now are on the wing, which means the engine room is, I guess, pretty close to the outside hull.
Either that or like there is an entire like chunk of time that we just did not get to experience with Sazh and Vanille.
yeah, which is particularly weird because like we've been zapping back and forth between the two parties, so
Yeah. But
I guess they were like, we don't feel like balancing the enemies for a 3-person team with multiple like 4 ATB bars or whatever versus these two who only have, well, I guess Sazh has 4 now, but
yeah.
Looking through the scripts, there is evidence of like a lot of deleted scenes throughout the game. I would not be surprised if they wanted to like trim off the fat of this chapter because it's long.
It's long.
It's like, let's get, when are they going to get to the Pope room?
when are they gonna get to the Pope mobile?
So our party is finally united, right? Like Vanille and Sazh meet the rest of the gang.
I was really hyped about this because like I was like, oh shit, Vanille and Fang are gonna see each other for the first time in days.
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
like 2 weeks, right? Because
And they do shout each other's name. They're like, "Oh, Fang, Vanille, there you are," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I like that, like, Snow is looking in the direction of, like, Vanille and Sazh and them and goes, "There you are." And Sazh is like, "Oh, you missed me?" And he's
Sazh
like,
is
"Not
"Oh,
you,
Hey,
the
buddy,
monster."
good to see you again.
Yeah.
When's the last time that Sazh saw Snow? That was probably him trying to dig out Sarah, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He just
So
like, there
like
you are.
July. Holy shit.
But yeah, it's because the Calvinka striker, the second one, is zooming in on us, and that's what Snow's pointing at.
Yeah.
And we get into another battle with one.
But we still have our same party though,
We still have our same party.
which is funny that I feel like we should have like kind of switched up because we have our new party members. I thought that would be more
It would make
thematically
sense.
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
It's basically a two-phase fight.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's still not hard. That's the thing. It's still pretty easy, but it does have access to one incredibly devastating attack that it did pop off right in the middle of the battle and took everyone down into critical health. And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, do you remember the name of that attack?
I don't, but I do have the power of God and anime and the fandom on my side. Let's see.
We crowdsourced this.
I'm trying to remember if it was this fight where it seemed like there was almost like a percentage based attack where is it Hellstorm Bolt perhaps?
Hellstorm Bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Ballroom Blitz.
But yeah, it's not that bad. I feel like for casual play, I don't know if there's like fast enough way to like beat it before it brings out Hellstorm Bolt. But if you have full HP, you'd be fine.
It has higher chain resistance as well in the second match.
Oh yeah, the first time through, I was looking at the numbers. Every single spell I was casting was doing 6 or 7%. I was just like, oh my god, like it builds. You build chain on it so fast.
Nice. But it has a higher resistance now too. So yeah, it's just a rematch with. It's just tougher now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the big brother came to stick up for his little brother whose ass you just kicked.
Yeah, but it's still not bad though. It's still pretty easy. Yeah,
And then
we get 2 like talisman items for beating these bosses. The Blessed Talisman,
Blessed.
which gives you auto faith.
Which seems pretty good. I think that only is active at the start of a battle, right?
Yeah. You
So
only
it'll
get it for a
wear
little bit.
off, but that's keeps one move of a setup down.
Right.
I think that would actually probably be worth popping on.
It might be.
Especially compared to if you haven't leveled anything up, you get like a 10% increase on something and like
Right.
poison resist or whatever. It's like,
Right.
nah.
So I'm very used to most fights things getting vaporized if we kill them for good. Like the Manasphine War Mech, we only saw it fall over the side of the bridge because we get to fight it again in like 2 chapters, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This one, it's actually both of these we don't see turn to dust in either of the cutscenes or in the battle. So I was like getting real suspicious
Yeah.
when this one didn't turn to dust, but it does like just flop on the ground. And then my like, why isn't it turning into fireflies?
Why isn't it red shifting and then slowly vibrating and then becoming pixels?
And turning explodes into verts. But now we have like a proper reunion now. Vanille and Fang like run over each other and give each other a big old hug. It's really cute.
There's a funny part here where the first thing that Fang does, because she's obviously very concerned about Vanille, and we know what we know about the brands, is she immediately takes a look at her brand, which is, if we remember from early on in the game, Vanille's is kind of like on her hip, like kind of up towards her butt. So she just like does that, and like Sazh is like standing there, I think, and he like looks away and he like covers his eyes. He's like, oh, and everyone's like, oh, what's going on?
Everyone's just kind of like
Very
Snow's
sheepish.
like trying to look uninterested, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels very like entendre. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, so like reuniting my girlfriend, immediately getting on my knees, like, oh god, things are escalating very fast. But yeah, just check on her ass.
Lightning's reaction is really good. She's kind of just standing there bored and sees it happen. And she just like moves her head slightly to the side, like unchanged face.
She's also the only one who knows why maybe she's checking on.
Oh, yeah.
just kind of
because
just
she's
like,
looking back and forth, like, what's up, boys?
Yeah, it's really good.
Camp gals just like check each other's butts. Oh my god, Lightning, look at her butt. Not even close.
Yeah, but as this is happening, Vanille tries to, I'm assuming talking about her her focus. She says, "There's something I need to tell you," and Fang just like hugs her and he's like, "You still got time? Like making me worry like that. We'll talk later, Missy."
Yeah.
She's like, you don't have to completely piss the shit out of me, like piss me off beyond any kind of comprehension right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sazh kind of Sazh is like viewing them having their reunion or whatever, and Snow looks at Sazh and he's like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing," which like I assume is because he's just gone on this giant chase, like a worldwide adventure with like Vanille, and like
he's still in the middle of his like.
I assumed it was because he's gone from like having no hope to live at all to now, knowing that maybe there is some hope with everything going on with Dodge, and he's just kind of stuck in his own thoughts, and he's like, okay, like they came back from Crystal, they're finally reuniting, maybe I'll be able to reunite with Dodge soon, like we can maybe make this work. And then
I'm wondering also if it is like him, because it goes between Fang and Vanille and then just him kind of thinking about it. I think he's just still thinking about Dodge and like still has some residual just hatred for like Pulse, like you two are like responsible and stuff. Like he's probably still internalizing, and also probably has to talk himself out of like, no, this is not.
It's like, yeah, they are technically the reason that all this shit happened to Dodge, but it's way more complicated than that. As
safe to say that his inner world is certainly a land of contrast at this point.
Yeah. He's got a bellyache. He's got a tummy ache.
He's got a tummy ache, but he is being so brave about it.
He's being so strong.
But yeah, so Sazh is like, so what's on the agenda? And Snow's just like toppling the sanctum.
He like punches his hand and stuff to be like, yeah. And then Sazh is like, no, I mean, like, really, what are we doing? Like, he's like, he's serious. We're going to take down the sanctum and give Cocoon back to the people.
I mean, don't you remember on Violet Peaks the last time they saw?
No, I'm still on my bullshit.
I'm still doing that. Don't worry.
Yeah, that plan has not changed. It's gotten slightly less stupid, maybe, but
yeah. Hope says if we pull this off, it'll be a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the party has their little back and forth, their funny Josh Whedon things that they say.
Yeah,
to
good
each
thing
other.
Lady Luck's on our side. Like more about the,
Yeah.
Luck.
And then
another striker comes flying in, right?
A blue striker comes flying in this time.
Oh, this looks kind of more akin to the one we fought back.
Maybe so.
Yeah, this is the Articuno.
I appreciate that.
But as we see them, everyone's kind of squaring up and getting ready to fight, and obviously these ones look a lot tougher than the ones that we just made short work of.
Except for Fang and Vanille, who seem to have a plan.
Fang says, check this out. A miracle. Grand Pulse style. Vanille, go fish.
Oh, it is the same one. It's there's only two variants, and this is basically the same.
Is that the one that Snow and Hope had to fight?
No, this is the same one we fought at the gates.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Same color and everything.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, it's familiar. So we know we can take it down easy.
But go fish Vanille does.
Indeed, she does.
She says, got it.
It makes sense of her weapon now a little bit, because like, what the fuck is her weapon, right? We're always kind of like, it's like 4 fishing lines.
When she had the
rod.
commando in the early game and was able to use attack. It threw out those like fishing lines. So one of them kind of swoops down past Fang and Vanille. Fang kind of like got its attention and drew it in, and Vanille just throws out those lines and it like hooks into it, and Fang jumps up and does she like Sonic grind onto it, or I think she just jumps onto it, right?
They just jumps onto it, yeah.
She's a Dragoon, so she can do that.
Yeah. True. It would have been a lot cooler if she did the Final Fantasy X / Sonic Adventure 2 grinding.
You're right.
It makes me curious about like how heavy is Vanille, because it immediately gets held back.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, if she caught that thing and it has all that inertia flying, it should have just ripped her off the wing.
She's extremely strong.
Yeah, just fucking wild.
She's got her mag boots from Pulse or whatever.
Yeah, the fucking ADP or whatever.
I kind of do like this a little bit though, because like once it gives a little context for like why Vanille's weapon is so weird and why it does what it does. But it also, like, since we haven't seen Pulse, it makes me feel like I kind of know what to expect a little more. I'm like, oh, okay, so they're a like how do you put, like like in Dune with the hooks or whatever, like the samurai hook. It's kind of like, okay, they're
living off the earth more than
They have
we kind of get to see a little bit of
nature.
Pulse like culture.
Yeah.
Firsthand.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is just part of their like ritual. Like, like, I mean, if they are thousands of years old, it's kind of comparable to like hunting mastodons and whatever. Like, yeah, this is part of just things we do every once in a while, and we've gotten pretty good at.
This
Vanille
is them
uses
waiting
this.
for the bus.
I was gonna say she uses this to mount the Shai Halud.
Yeah, she does her big just freaking jump and spears it down. Also implying that she's quite heavy.
Yeah.
At least a lot of downward force.
It's that dragoon strike.
It's a reverse of launch.
Yeah, D-launch.
But everyone, I guess they've basically subdued it. And everyone goes running over to the Garuda.
Yeah, and everybody jumps on it, and we start riding it around.
Well, before that,
sorry, go ahead.
much like the last time we saw this Garuda and beat it, there's this suspicious-looking owl looking over them.
Yeah.
That's also true. Yeah, we see that fucking owl.
Which is similar that we saw it the last time we fought this Garuda.
And it seems like mechanical as well. So we can assume some sort of sanctum tie.
Make some noises.
Yeah, it's looking around, and we can kind of hear robot noises.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking bird. It's got either long ears or kind of that looks like a scarf design on its front.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Covering its emblem, so we don't know where its
allegiance
lies.
Yeah. But we don't see it arrive, only that it's there when we're taking off and flying around on the Striker or whatever.
I mean, someone's been watching us.
Someone's been watching us. All right.
It's probably a friend of theirs.
Yeah. But that's only the second time we've seen it, right?
Yes, I think so. I was remembering back to us seeing like a strange bird in Bodum, but I think that might have had more to do with
that's just
Fang.
a normal bird.
I think that was
That's just a bird. That's not a robot bird.
Exactly.
That's not one of those spying doorbell birds.
Yeah, one of the Ring doorbells. But now we do get to see a cool cutscene of us, our whole party flying along on one of these things.
It's very silly.
But yeah, we from the side of the Palamecia, we see this real goofy riding adventure. Everyone's piled on top of
real cartoony.
Yeah, of course. Sazh is holding on to one of the fins or the spikes on it.
He's doing a Tom Cruise in that one Mission Impossible where they strapped into the side of the plane. Chocobo is holding on as well for his dear life.
That's so cute.
I guess Fang is just steering it with the spear.
That makes sense. It's the way you control a boat or something. But yeah, Sazh is
or it's the way you control the robots in frickin' Horizon, where he's tapped right into their fucking spine.
Yeah,
it's like an Avatar with the ponytails, sticking your dick in the ponytail or whatever.
I guess that everybody on the entire ship knows exactly where we are too, because all the guns start firing at us on the Palamecia.
This is very Avatar meets Star Wars right now, because it's just...
I would like to remind everyone that Cocoon is an inverted sphere. So if you fire at somebody and you miss and you're in the middle of the sphere, that bullet will find the ground.
No, it's okay. Every bullet's a fal'Cie, so it'll brace.
That makes me feel way better about my accuracy in Halo games, because it's pretty much the same logic for if you shoot kind of vertically, at least.
Yeah.
Sazh is whipping around like crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how he has a grip for that, but it's pretty silly.
But yeah,
he's doing okay though.
The Calvinga Striker kind of I guess it's not the same one, but whatever. The Striker kind of bobs and weaves through the fire,
and weaving,
and it opens up its own I guess it shoots a laser out of its mouth, or lightning out of its mouth.
It basically breathes fire. We saw that briefly when we were under attack by it.
That's right. And it hits the
much like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and it hits the hull of the Palamecia, and then doubles back around, and the party's looks like it's about time to jump, and they jump into the hole.
Looks like we're gonna have to jump.
Yeah.
Did we go over what they were riffing while they were on the back of this?
No,
things
believe
in Lady Luck now.
Yeah, Sazh says, Lady Bad Luck, which is
Lady Bad Luck,
real fucking R.L. Stein levels of writing.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Oh yeah, what's the Japanese one say? I'm curious.
Ton de monnaie. I don't know what that means.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, I guess that's not a word. But we hear a little voiceover of Vanille as we jump into that hole that we just jump off the Garuda.
I looked up what ton de monnaie means. It just means outrageous.
Absurd.
How dare you?
Outrageous.
But yeah, we hear Vanille.
I had my doubts, but I also believed that if we stuck together, Somehow we could change our fate.
Everything's looking up right now.
Yeah, nothing but good times ahead.
Actually, it is kind of like a nice
California.
it is like we were saying like with the last episode, like we finally feel a little empowered for the first time, and now all of our party members are back together and we all have like a singular mission, and it feels very like, oh, here we go, we're gonna stick it to the fucking Primarch and fuck this dude up.
Now that we there's hope for our friends who are crystallized.
Right.
We have motivation to keep going forward. We're like, we gotta fulfill our focus so we can get to see them again and all that shit.
Yeah, we got up and nothing gets us down. We got it tough, but we've seen the toughest around.
Don't you see me standing here? I got my back against the wrecking machine.
Just anytime I hear Jump now, I just immediately have the fucking synth intro in my head. So them all jumping in was really, really nice with that in my brain.
So we jump into
the Senate.
Yeah, well, we jump into the Palamecia, and the area in which we land is incredibly cool, but also I feel like not incredibly functional from a day-to-day use perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It actually would be quite annoying to have to work in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like an array of diamond-shaped platforms.
Yeah, we're not a hallway, right?
It's a giant kind of diagonally, like this is the very a roundabout way of the diagonal elevator section.
Yeah,
which just always means something intense is coming up, or I guess that's also, or you're going up and down from Junon. But instead of it being an elevator, it's just a very long series of stairs that go in different landings.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a convention center or something, and there's like different.
Yeah,
seems like it would be useful if there was like, I guess like an army that's trying to like attack. I mean, that's essentially what we are right now, like a small army.
I'm guessing because this is, we'll find out, is right outside the like control room. It's just lots of like, I guess, ways to prevent unwanted people coming in and out all willy-nilly straight, but not to give people a straight shot to the control room.
Yeah, I guess
they can kind of control people going in and out, or like if you need to escort someone through while someone else is coming down, you can have them go up a different way while the Primarch's going up another way. I don't know. There's probably some roundabout explanation for it.
The place that I don't think anyone would ever have to get to quickly on an airship would be like
the cockpit.
Bridge. Yeah, the cockpit. Like nothing important's happening in there. Like we don't need any kind of like easy access to it.
It's to keep the pilots farther away from the bar.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a large like rectangular prism of a room. Like it's very, very big. It goes down a long way. So these like platforms that we're on are kind of like suspended in the air.
Yeah, because the Palamecia, it actually makes sense if you look at it from the outside. It kind of like angles downwards towards the cockpit room. So I think this is like the neck of the ship in a way.
Yeah, I guess like if you don't actually have need for the space to be full of things, you know what I mean? This isn't a bad thing to put in there. If it's, if the ship is just a big empty hull,
it kind of feels a little bit like the inside of the Vestige in terms of its like design.
Yeah, I could see that.
But it's, a cocoon one.
We do get a really cool primer that comes up on the battle team formation, because now,
oh my goodness,
we finally have access to all of our party members,
all our homies.
We can make whatever team we want.
When you got this, Curtis, you took a screenshot of it and sent it in the Discord, and you're like, fuck yeah. And Swanzig was just like, whoa, Curtis, spoilers. Someone's in your party that last episode we weren't sure would ever be in our party again. Because like Sazh is just like right there, like smiling with like a thumbs up and stuff. But yeah, this is super cool. Now we can but while it's very cool, it's also very terrifying, because by now we really know the battle system. We know the strengths and the weaknesses of party formations that we can have and stuff. And we're just like, oh no, the game just like gave it all to me pretty much. And like I had a couple components that I can change. Now I can just do pretty much anything. So if I fuck up, it is my fault.
So who all did you put in a party?
Yeah, there's too many options now. I immediately just went all girls. So, yeah, Lightning and Fang kind of leading the pack, while Vanille is kind of a support.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice to kind of keep the girlfriends together since they've been apart for so long.
I also went with the dream team of all ladies. And that's literally just because I was like, I like these characters the most, I think. So I'm just going to have them all in my party. And I was like, it's probably not going to be the best strategy, but fuck it. I want to use these ones, so I'm going with it.
I started with a Lightning Vanille Snow and then quickly changed to a Lightning Hope Snow after like losing a couple battles. I was like, all right, I need a fucking synergist in here.
I might end up switching to Sazh, because I remembered I am very close, if not already there, with having haste.
Yeah.
So I think having Sazh as the party leader would be really, really powerful, because just being able to cast haste.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of this area, because I went to every platform and fought everybody. By the end of it, I think everybody's Crystarium was maxed out. I didn't really have anywhere else to go.
I have only been leveling up the party members that I have, so like the ones that I haven't been using have like a ton of CP that I just haven't used at all yet, and I'm excited to kind of get into.
That's badass. Yeah,
For me, I found it very useful to have Fang Lightning Vanille because of some fun paradigms like Devastation, which you have 2 commandos and 1 saboteur.
Sure,
in the back.
Yeah.
And also multiple people who can be medic just in case like something goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, the oh shit button where it's just like lightning and vanille medics.
It is nice that there's 3 medics, which is like very handy. So there is like lightning is a medic.
I don't think Fang has medic at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean there are 3 in the part. Like
that
Hope,
you can
Vanille,
absolutely
and Lightning are all medics.
I also used Matador quite a bit, which was Ravagers attack enemies weakened by Sab while the Sentinel defends against them. So there's a Ravager, Sentinel, Saboteur.
Sure.
Oh, that's really cool.
I only keep my only Sentinel party is with medics. So it's like, to me, if I'm in Sentinel, something's going wrong or an attack's getting ready to happen that I know is big. So I don't ever keep somebody in Sentinel if it's not shit times.
Curse, I don't know if you saw, but on the fandom for the paradigms, they actually like list the name of the paradigms in Japanese underneath.
Ooh.
Which is kind of cool.
Strike Team, which is Commando Synergist, in Japanese is The Leap of 2 Heroes.
Nice. That's so much better.
Oh my god. Commando Ravager Saboteur in English. Ruthless. In Japanese, The Warring Demons of Destruction.
God damn, dude. That's so good.
You can fit a lot more into fewer characters, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it only takes 5 characters to say that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There's some good ones in here, actually. I'm like reading them right now. Assassination is Ravager Saboteur. That is Sense of the Turbulent Storm.
These are brutal. Love it.
Cool.
Entourage, Hymn of Defense.
These all sound like they could be metal albums.
Yeah.
Ravager Medic. Medic is perpetual magic. Also known as Magian of Immortality.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, yeah, we're in this weird diagonal room. And we also get a quick little cutscene as we land, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lightning's pointing down the hall. Guess you can call it a hall. But yeah, Daisley's through there. And Fang turns to Vanille's like, we're still going to have our talk, but let's survive this first, yeah?
Yeah, that's very nice.
Like, right. One thing at a time.
And then you proceed to win several of the first battles. And then there are like 3 of them in here that are just fucking incredibly difficult. I found
there's a couple fuck you battles in here for sure.
Yeah.
I think part of this room is supposed to look like a church because as we almost look like we're on pews, like going downwards.
Oh, okay.
And if you look down at the very end, like towards the door, it looks almost like where like the sermon would be.
It does.
Taking place.
It really does. Like now that you're saying that, like I'm surprised I didn't notice it myself.
Like a mega church.
It really does. I think you're absolutely right, actually.
From like a game design perspective, I feel like the reason for this and having so like basically the way you get through this room is each platform that you get to has some panels that you can activate to bring like bridges to get closer to your destination and also kind of branch off to other platforms.
The stairs are good to get on the plane, but they're now going down.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you can connect all the areas, and there's some chests that you can get and things like that. But there's different combinations of enemies on each one. So I think from a game perspective, like a game design perspective, it's like, well, you have the full party now, so have at it. Like try different permutations. You can change up your party to try and tackle things differently, and it's like a nice way to kind of give you training in this way. But I just banged my head against this with the three people party that I had, and I did not go with that. And I was just like, no, I will make it work the way that I want it to, and I don't care about using strategy. Real snow energy here, no plan.
Once again, when I would get to a difficult battle that I found tough, I would be like, I refuse to heal. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get that good time. Because, I surely could have beaten these by just, sticking snow in Sentinel and then just kind of having Lightning and Hope or Lightning and Vanille deal with it. But I refused to do so. I was like, no.
Yeah.
The other thing I like to use was Delta Attack, which, of course, reminiscent of, our Mega Sisters, which is Commando, Ravager, Sentinel, which the Sentinel draws attention, draws aggression, while the Commando and Ravager attack a common target, so they gang up on one person.
Yeah.
So you get to draw fire from the guys with bazooka or something like that.
Right.
Which we do encounter a few of those as we're going down. There's a lot of Psycon.
Oh my goodness, don't we though?
Oh yeah.
There are
extremely annoying.
There's the I don't have the name of them, but the high ranking Psycom guys. What are they called? Hold on.
The Marauders?
Yeah, they're like the Marauders. Is that what they're called in this section?
So here there's the Reaver, I think.
The Reaver, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, F those guys, they suck.
Yeah, there's a battle where it's a Reaver with 4 Dragoons around him.
You know what? I beat that one on my first try. There was one that was a Reaver, 2 Huntresses, and 2 Destroyers, I think. And that one, oh my goodness, I fought that battle 8 times.
I forget which one I kind of just went through and I was like, okay, I struggled with it and I finally beat it and I was sick. I think it actually might have been the one with the 4 Dragoons, because I think I ended up using whatever gives you haste at the beginning, and I just went all in and took them down. I was like, nice. And then I didn't hit the button, so by the time I got back to them, they all respawned and I had to fight them again to continue to because it was on the critical path, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
This Reaver has big Garland energy. He's got
He does.
Big horns coming off of his helmet in purple.
He also can cast. He's a saboteur as well, so he can de-shell, de-protect you, and then hit you with a devastating attack. And he also has the fucking destroyers with him, which last episode I was explaining about how they're real assholes, and so he'll hit lightning with a de-protect, and then 2 destroyers will just lock on the lightning, and that's it. That's game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm guessing their ATB is very slow because they'll just kind of stand there menacingly, but then just charge in real fast.
Yeah. They can also launch you, which is not fun.
Super annoying to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
Reaping and sowing, etc., etc.
So yeah, there's some tough battles in here.
I went through every area, I think, just so I can get all the items that were hiding in the corners, the back corners behind us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the bridges?
Yeah, they telescope out, and they I think the design's really cool. Where they extend from looks almost like there's 2 glyphs that are kind of magnetically drawn to each other, but they do telescope out like they're docking onto an airplane.
Yeah.
What did we call that from Dumb and Dumber again?
The jetway?
The jetway. It's like a jetway.
You don't have to open all of them. You just have to create a path to get to the bottom or whatever.
Yeah, I think every single one connects to each other.
Every one connects to every adjacent one.
Diagonally one, yes.
The toughest battles are in the center path. So the quickest way to get from the front to the area we're heading is to go right down the center. But all those really tough Reaver fights are in the center. So you could go around, but that'll be a little bit longer. But I said, no, what if there's something secret that happens if I make every bridge pop up? And there's not, but I did make every bridge pop up.
And when you get, much like we were talking about last episode, where you get far enough away from an encounter, they will respawn.
They will. But I noticed if you do it the front 3 and then the middle 3 and then the next middle 3 and then the back 3, they won't respawn fast enough for you to have to fight them again. That's
actually a speed strat that I think was kind of recently discovered, if I remember correctly, where you really only have to use 2 bridges to get to your where we're heading.
Okay. Yeah, it's really cool. But
So yeah, some of the items that you can get are pain dampener, which I think just decreases the chance for you to get pain, which you need to upgrade to make it worthwhile. 2 rune bracelets is in a chest, and we can get a snow weapon, which is the Umbra.
the Umbra.
Oh,
Which
I missed that one.
yeah, that improves ward abilities.
It's on the right side. I think it's on like the second one down or something like that.
There is a chest with or a sphere, I guess, that's 3600 gil, which is
Mwah.
decent at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never going to shake my fist at that, but
Yeah,
there is
yeah,
some
exactly.
later that I get like 300 gil, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, towards the exit, there's like a gold bangle as well.
Yeah,
you can
gold
grab.
bangle and a perfect conductor, which is a very good resource to use to level up equipment.
Speaking of the bangles, they did the song "Walk Like an Egyptian." But speaking of the gold bangles, in
That
Final Fantasy
music
15,
video, real quick, has fucking Gaddafi doing the Egyptian dance in it.
Does
with
it
CGI.
really?
Yeah, my fiance and I watched that a couple nights ago when we were. It's got like Princess Diana, Gaddafi,
Oh my
and
God.
some other. It's very wild. It's very weird.
Oh well, how the march of time does shame us all. But well, anyway, but yeah, speaking of the gold bangle, which gives you a bunch of HP, there are two reasons I went with snow in this section. I was thinking about it. Is that like most of my party members average around 1,000 HP right now. I think Vanille comes in a little below it, where she has like 900 something. Snow's natural HP for me is like 2,500 or something. I was like, my boy, big and thick lad. And also, he has a Ravager too, so I can do Tri-Disaster. So like when I'm
Nice,
like
yeah.
stacking up staggers, they just happen instantaneously.
That's sick. Yeah, I love when I think at this point like Fang has decent HP for me, and I see like that things are turning red. I'm like, oh no, one of my party members is almost dead, and I look down and it's just Fang, and she has like
More HP
900
than-
HP, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is fine.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
I remember my introduction to this series was playing like the demo for 13.2 and just seeing the crazy amount of like numbers, like how high. It's like I'm in this boss fight and there's like 6 digits of damage coming off this thing, and I have no concept of like,
Yeah.
how much is like if
Yep.
that's good or not.
It's so weird. It's only weird because the standard for so long was like, you know, quad 9 was the highest output that you could do.
We
Right.
had 2
right.
digits of HP and like FF1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so funny how that just amps up. There's like no
Yeah.
reason for it.
So much math.
Is it Paper Mario where it's just like they pretty much just it's the same type of damage that you can do, but they just cut off the zeros, so it like
It's like
the
6.
highest you can do is like 9, and you're like,
Yeah,
damn, that's a
yeah.
good attack.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
you
it's
do
all the
9
same.
damage, you're like,
Just
holy
add-
moly.
Yeah, add 2 zeros after it, no one would bat an eye.
Did you all see the new trailer for FF16 today?
I did not watch it. No.
Everything, ever since the first announcement, everything they show about that game is I'm like, they're making one for me. They're like, what is Curtis like? And I'm like, oh, I like all of this. And they did it again.
Extremely European looking and also extremely bloody looking.
It's so fucking like mean. It's so mean.
I saw
And, like-
someone complaining about a headline about it saying like they've gone full Game of Thrones, and it was like journalists stop comparing anything to like everything to Game of Thrones challenge.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Anytime something takes place in Europe and involves like
anything slightly medieval. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
someone getting their head cut off, like this is getting big Game of Thrones vibes from this.
Guy who's only ever seen Boss Baby. Getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes for this one. But anyway, it looks tight. So, 3 Final Fantasies before that, though. Final Fantasy 13. We're in a big hallway.
Yeah, if you don't count World of Final Fantasy or
I
Stranger
don't.
Paradise. Or,
I don't.
Remake.
I
or
don't.
Remake.
Yeah, but this area's tough.
Yeah, you can get an Ether Sol, which is good because if you had to use a that was my way of being like, oh, okay. They probably expected me to have to use one of my Eidolons here, and they're probably like, yeah, you're gonna want to have full TP here for this next section that you're going into.
I did try to use my Eidolons for a lot of these tough battles, and it was useless every time.
yeah.
I know that like there are sections of the speedrun that use Sazes sometimes. So I know that there are reasons to use an Eidolon.
Yeah, he's got a race car.
He's got a race car. It's sick. His race car go fast. But I can't figure out what those reasons are right now because I'm like, these shits is useless.
Swanzig will tell us.
I need to.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think there's passive abilities and stuff as well. I forget.
Okay.
I have been watching Ninnies learn the speed run with Swanzig coaching, and he kind of gives some really good insight. But my brain sucks and my memory is bad, so I can never like fully remember.
Well, at the end of this hallway is a save point
And an item. Which I forget what's in that chest.
I think it's an ether saw.
Oh, is it the Ethersol? Okay.
Is that the Etherthal?
I think so.
Etherthal? Show me Ethersol.
But yeah, anything more about this section you want to talk about?
No, I was very burnt out. I was hitting like the 4-hour mark of, if not more, of playing through. So here I was just like, oh my god, I just want this shit to be over.
Church of Pain.
But I think it's a pretty cool section.
Luckily, nothing difficult's coming up.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a good place to maybe like do some level grinding if you wanted to, trying out different paradigms and stuff like that. But
I'd like to take a moment to do a little level grinding if that's all right before we continue on.
I would love to do that. Yeah, we're definitely going to need it. Oh yeah, this is also the first area that I used any of the Sol items, and I was like, oh shit, these are sick.
Oh, they're sick. They're great.
Oh yeah, they're really, really good and really helpful.
All right, so yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah, let's pop a Deceptisol and take a break. And then hit retry so we get it back.
Well, we're hoping that Carl would join us, but he did pop a Deceptisol, so I do not know if he is back or not. I can't see him.
I'm trying to think of a wizard
Carl!
people. I'm trying to think of a wizard people reference with the invisibility cloak. Because as we all know, that cool wizard teenager story was written by Brad Neely.
That's right.
Who, as far as we know, is not a horrible monster.
There were kids in the adult books.
Kids in the adult books. You like flying motorcycles?
All right.
This game does have a flying motorcycle.
That's true. It does. But you know what else it does have? It has a big bridge. Oh my god, this is the battle on the big bridge, but bridge doesn't mean
I've heard of
a crossing of, yeah.
Also, I found Palamecia is a FF2 reference.
Yes, it is.
Is that a town in FF2 or something?
Or a person, I forget.
I think it's the ship.
It's the actual ship, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Throwing one out for the FF2 fans. They're finally getting something.
No, that's just the name of the empire.
Oh,
nice.
It does say so I'm looking at the wiki. It says also known as Palakia in the English version on the NES. There was no English version on the NES, which is why it has to go on to say which was unreleased.
Which did not exist.
Did I tell you? I'm sure I've said it on the podcast before. Maybe I haven't. One of my favorite Final Fantasy II tidbits, one of my little like interesting things to say about it, is that it never released in English, but it was made in America, and that is so weird to me because the programmer for the first one, Nazir or whatever, right? His visa ran out in Japan, and he was like, well, I gotta go back to America. And they were like, you know what? It's fine. We'll just set up an office in America, and we'll just do all of our work there. So, like, FF2 was made in California, but it never released in America. And I was like, how weird.
Damn, that's some gift of the Magi shit.
Shout out to our friend Aiden who talked to us for Wired. He was talking a lot about on Twitter for saying the outrageous fact that like JRPGs are not always made in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
Shout outs to our friend Ceaselessly, who's been running Final Fantasy II and kicking ass in it.
Hell yeah. But we are not in Final Fantasy II.
But 11 more. We are Final Fantasy 11 more than that.
Yeah.
That's the online one.
We're also not in California.
Yeah.
California, here we come.
But yeah, we're in the Oval Office of the Palamecia. Never keep
Yep.
changing what it's called.
And I like that, like, as soon as we walk in, there's no, like, moment to stop and admire the surroundings. Sazh sees Jill is there and is like, oh, you son of a bitch. Like,
We've been looking for you, Nabat.
So
yeah, we've been
good.
looking for Unibot.
Oh right, real quick. This is something that I thought about that drastically kind of changes things to the podcast a little bit. When we were walking in, there was a little bit of incidental dialogue between like Vanille and Fang, where it's like, "Oh, we can do this, right?" And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna wish you hadn't they're just saying things leading up to where they're going."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Fuck." If we all have like similar parties, then we're not really going to get all of that. And it probably makes like documenting everything that is said in this game a lot more difficult from here on out because...
Do we not... I guess we don't hear everybody's speech depending on who we have.
I think the party itself will all be in like cutscenes, I would imagine. It's not like a Final Fantasy VII thing where you assume they're fucking off elsewhere or whatever, but like just small things. So I'm wondering if like, I mean, this has been a thing that's
It probably don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It was just an
If
interesting
anything, we
thought
should
where I
all
was
pick
like,
different parties.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But I'm like, damn.
Well, I didn't record my playthrough, but I can pretty assuredly say
Snow only said cool things.
Snow said something really dumb, and then Hope was like, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah. But yeah, we got a fucking Pope to kill.
Yep. And before we have a Pope to kill, we have a Jill Nabat Science Queen
to also kill because
She does a
she's the
belly
worst.
flop.
So Sazh comes in. Yeah, we all run in. Sazh does his "been looking for you, Nabat," and Jill sees that and is like, "All right, let's do it." And then she like you said, belly flop dives off of the fucking
Yeah, she
platform.
does like the
sticks
Batman
the
dive where she's
landing.
about to do like the Batman glide, but yeah, she does somehow manages to land on her feet.
She rotates only off screen.
She sticks the landing. She does the superhero 3-point landing.
Yeah.
We also
and-
this is also some of the scenes where we actually get to see all the characters and like pretty well lit, and I didn't really realize how green the bot's outfit was.
Yeah.
Unless she has a different outfit, different whatever.
Yeah,
but
and
we all see that bird again.
Yeah, I was gonna say as they're as we're rushing in and Nabat's doing her cool gymnastic shit, we do see that owl kind of looking over everything. So I guess that it's just like, oh, it's the Sanctum's bird or Nabat's bird or the Primarch's bird.
Yeah, this is the Pope's drone. Like we saw Roche's drones.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, she walks right over confidently.
Sazh points his gun right at her.
Directly at her.
And she gets out her fucking like Reno baton.
That's right. Your Eminence, please escape. I'll cover your retreat. And I'm guessing it's because she doesn't have her glasses. She can't see that there's a gun pointed at her.
Yeah.
That's right. She doesn't have her glasses.
She brought a stick to a gunfight. But yeah, the Primarch looks super unbothered by this, and he just says,
Why don't you leave, Jill? Or rather, take your leave.
damn, got her, owned.
Oh, owned. Yeah.
But then he actually owns her. He says, humans have no business here. And she like freaks out and she's like, wait, what? Also, we get to see
Yeah,
her
she doesn't-
hair, which is extremely long. Like
Yeah, I forgot how long her hair was.
I love how long her hair is.
Super
I love it.
Saiyan 3 levels of length.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, she's like confused because like humans have no place here. She says, what? Your Eminence? And he kind of just
Yo,
like,
she turns around because she's like just confused. She's like, I don't know what you mean. And like turns around and just gets one right in the back. Oh my gosh.
and by one, we mean some like
Magic.
like
Magic.
Pope magic energy blast.
fucking the Primarch just smokes the shit out of her. Which like I feel, okay, here's the thing. Jill's a bad character in that she's evil, bad evil, right? And I'm like, oh, she deserves to get some shit during this game. However, I do feel like the writing does her very dirty in that they build her up for a good amount of time. And she just gets smoked right here after doing nothing.
It's kind of the same thing with like Roche or whatever his name was, right? Like,
Yeah.
the guy
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
Well, we'll talk about Roche here in a second.
I figured, yeah. But
I feel like they were trimming a lot of fat again off the plot. Like they just like we need it, like the whole thing with Jill and Sazh. I feel like they really like put that on the back burner, and they really could have explored her character a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well-
anyway, the Pope just starts floating, and he's got his like scepter, which now has a bunch of those energy balls like
I
floating
feel like
around it.
Only because we do a podcast about JRPGs can we just unqualifiedly say the Pope starts floating and energy balls form around him.
And he kind of whips it around almost like in the same motion that like Yuna did in 10 with her staff, and just like kills everyone who is piloting the ship. Like all of his staff members, he just completely destroys. And
He's like
also,
a Magic Koopa now.
yeah,
He's got his
Kamek.
little like.
He's Kamek, dude.
Oh my god. He also he kills everybody who's on the bridge who's not the Lassie. And then he also just like puts the sky roof down. Like
With
like
magic
the sunroof.
again, yeah.
Yeah. So like the roof of the bridge is kind of like a translucent-ish screen.
I'm assuming there's like an armor that's up over
and
the
he just
windshield.
He just swipes and it all goes away. So we're fighting like in open air, but on the bridge now.
Yeah. Yeah, and Snow's really pissed about that, and he says, Dicely, monster!
Yeah, they're all like kind of like angry, but not that inquisitive about like what is happening right now. They're just like, how dare you do this, Dicely? Like, and nobody decides to be like, what is happening right now?
They know they're in a JRPG. They're like, this is normal.
They're like, this guy's probably a fucking Lassie too or something.
Yeah,
They say that.
They do say that, yeah.
Because he uses magic. Like, we've heard that you can't use magic unless you're a Lassie.
Well, he could have a mana drive in his.
Well, we
his-
haven't seen the mana drive charging thing, so clearly he's using actual magic. When you're a Lassie, you just know what's real magic and what's that fake shit. It's like when
That's
you look
right.
at AI art, you always know.
Chris Angel was not a Lassie.
But yeah, Snow says people are not yours
David
to
Blaine, though.
use. And then Dicely says, what else does one do with tools?
Devastating toward everyone.
I can't believe he called Snow a tool.
Well, Snow like runs up to him and tries to punch him in the face, which I have to say, even though there is a force field around Dicely and Snow punches it and it gets blown backward, very anime style, it would be incredible if he did actually just get to punch the Pope in the face.
It would be
and
sick.
like Dicely actually took one. Like I would just be like, oh my god.
This ain't Metal Gear Rising. We're just gonna fucking just punch the shit out of a senator,
Yeah.
even if you can take it. That owl is also flying around and joins him as he starts floating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of is. He's unfazed by that attack, and he just says, "Cocoon is a factory built by Fal'Cie, a factory for mass production of human thralls." And Snow's like,
There
"Not
we
anymore."
go. And so I feel like that's like because he's so close to Eden, and we're always like theorizing about what the purpose of Cocoon is throughout the game, right? It is nice to hear like, oh, okay, the guy who's in charge of Cocoon is like, oh yeah, we breed human slaves here. That's what we do.
We're doing that.
Hope was
thing.
right
Yeah.
about the pet thing.
Yeah,
Right.
Lightning's existential crisis about being a pet for the Fal'Cie was completely well founded.
It was well founded, and yet somehow even like
Even
not
worse
as
than
bad.
what she was hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, it was even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, Snow takes issue with it and says, like, not anymore, we're not doing that. And Primarch's like, yeah, but you guys are just like men. What are you going to do about it? Without our help, death is all of which you're capable. You saw the fools, a mindless mob drunk on fear of a few Lassie. And Lightning just like kind of takes out her weapon and points it at him. It's just like,
I love the poetic writing of this interaction.
Yeah.
Like, if they
Really
only
good.
knew a Lassie was the one filling their glasses.
yeah. And the Primarch just kind of like laughs a little bit. He's like, Lassie? You mean me?
Because it makes sense at first, right? You're like, oh,
Clearly
Primarch
this guy's a
Dicely,
Lassie.
He's clearly a Lassie.
He's
using
friends
magic.
with God. God gave him magic.
He's
just like
the
every
Fal'Cie's
pope.
number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eden or whatever
Eden's
probably like branded him or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he just says like, oh, child, perish the thought. I am more than that. I am Fal'Cie.
Oh, it's so good the way he says
This,
it.
and as he's doing this, the owl goes into his scepter and they start, I guess, fusing.
They start doing
Yeah,
a
and-
Voltron.
And he becomes a very large boy.
Yeah, he's a big fella.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's like a combination of a church organ and like a aircraft carrier like or destroyer like cannon.
so I'm gonna go ahead and retrieve like the next line or two so we can get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Primarch says, "My name is Barthandalus." And that's the line I wanted to read because as we describe him, I didn't want to keep calling him or it or whatever.
Yeah.
Barthandalus.
My name is Spartandalus, voice of the sanctum and Lord Sovereign of the Cocoon Fal'Cie. Your kind feared the darkness, so we gave you light. You begged us for the purge, and did it not come to pass? Now you spurn our counsel? You must learn your place!
And what does this motherfucker look like?
Oh boy, he is a lot.
He's either the top half of a robot because he doesn't have legs.
He does.
like
He
to
looks
say-
like Megazord's face. The
Right.
Megazord, the good one or the bad one? I forget. Who cares? Either way, he looks like he's got a transformer head.
He looks like Megabyte from Reboot.
He looks like a giant Mighty Max toy, but scary. But more scary in a different way.
It's actually kind of. I actually like his design in the way that like it's a little bit too much, but they really went ham on the details. Because the first thing we see of him is his hand, right? And it's like a human shaped hand, roughly.
The claws have a really interesting, intricate shape to
The
them.
claws
Yeah.
are so intricate.
They almost
like
look
the
like
nails.
syringes.
So they bend like up and then back down, like
Yeah, it's
loopy,
really wild.
almost like fish hooks or a fountain penny type of thing. Again, it's just very ornate.
That also reminds me that we got a good look at his hands when he was in human form, when he was in guy form, and his fingernails were hella long.
Yeah.
More just old man Seymour energy.
Yeah,
What a weird thing he is. But all right, so he is essentially, or I guess the front. You have his large head that's up front, that's protected by like two shields that kind of fold in.
He's got some pauldrons.
He's got like these face pauldrons, and those fold out for him to see you and talk to you. So when he says like voice of the sanctum, Lord Sovereign of the Cocoon Foul Sea, he's like speaking down onto Lightning as his like face armor opens up. And his face is very ornate. He has like a lot of like sharp shark teeth and like gold trimmed eyes and like no pupils and stuff. And like writing all
Yeah,
over.
his armor on the face also has a bunch of writing on it as well. Now that I'm looking closely at him, like shit. Probably should translate that.
Yeah, so the Cocoon brand is on his forehead and stuff like that.
And then further out from his like face armor, like as you go toward his arms, he has like two giant pauldrons that have upside down faceless,
like human-like faces.
Human faces,
like the ones that we saw
choir.
in the the choir. Yeah, he controls those with his foot pedals. Everything else is controlled with the hand keys.
Yeah, and the dividers between them are the lyrics they were reading off.
Yeah, exactly.
There's scripture written all over this thing. It's super wild. I mean, this game is very dense in terms of design.
It's cool
Oh,
too
yeah.
because we kind of only get to see him from like where our party is standing, especially when spoiler we're about to battle him. So for the battle, we kind of just see just the face and the scary like upside down human faces on his pauldrons and the other piece of armor that I will probably mispronounce. But we do get one shot from the distance where it almost looks like he has like a behemoth kind of style like build.
Right. He's got just broad
yeah.
shoulders and kind of a smaller back. But yeah, he doesn't have any legs. He just kind of looks like he's planted on the ground,
no legs.
Yeah.
like a tree stump.
We're was it in your, I can't remember if it was in your stream I was saying this or if I was just saying it to myself. But like dude just has one big thick leg that comes off of his chest. Every day is leg day to Barthandelus. He just has the
I
one.
think you did say that about
Yeah.
leg day. I was too busy panicking at this fight to know what you were referencing, but yeah.
He is so monstrous that while he's delivering that speech or whatever, when he's talking to them about like, oh, we did this for you and now you're spurning us or whatever, the party members are looking at him like, what the fuck are we looking at?
Yeah,
because he is like
Lightning
otherworldly.
Even Lightning is kind of like visibly shaken by just seeing him for what he is. It's like it's the meme of like, be not afraid, child, when you see like a biblically accurate angel.
Most terrified I've ever been.
Yeah, except like instead of saying be not afraid, it's like, oh no, you're supposed to be afraid right now. Like that's a really good idea for you, is to be afraid of me because I'm gonna fucking destroy
This
you.
is the part where you run away.
He's absolutely massive too. He is a great big boy.
The cool thing about this boss design is seeing it here is fucking terrifying. Like when you see this happen in the game out of nowhere where it just takes this hard turn, it's like genuinely horrifying. But if you were to just like see this if someone just posted it, like a PNG of this boss on Twitter, and you're scrolling through and you see it, you'd be like, that's a dumb design. But it works really, really well in context.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The song that's playing is really, really cool.
Right.
It's very kind of
Dark Souls.
Like choral, very Dark Souls. Yeah, just very spooky church.
It's just the
That's why I thought his pauldron faces were like the choir, because they are like mouthing. And
their
like,
mouths are moving.
They are.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, they're the ones singing.
I think this
it just plays
similar.
the fucking Taurus demon like. Ah!
It's similar to the faces that we saw on other Lassie, I would imagine, right? Or the thing screaming outside of the vestige.
Oh, it does kind of look like that. That's right.
Yeah.
It's upsetting.
I do like in this battle, I immediately realized that he had other things to attack other than his big dumb face.
He does, in fact. He has, what are they called? There's the left and right pauldron.
Yeah, and the left and right allet. Yeah, I guess.
At?
What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just assumed it was another type of armor that's similar to the allet, French language for little wing, was a component of 13th century knightly armor, usually made of something I will not be able to pronounce because I'm dumb. Sometimes of plate or parchment. Allettes were thick, quadrangular pieces of leather or wood that attached the shoulders by means of silk or leather cord.
We don't use the word quadrangular to describe enough things, I think.
We sure don't.
I'd like to see an uptick in that.
Ooh. Sorry, I just noticed on the concept art there's translations of some of the scripture on its outside.
Nice.
It says like, govern the waves of change, guide the critical choices. And another one says purveyor of the greater plan.
Oh my goodness.
Which is really cool. Very ominous. For the culmination
A greater plan, you say?
For the culmination of a single purpose.
All of this is for a single purpose, you say?
Who'd have thunk?
Interesting. I'm gonna put a pin in that.
Interesting if true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the basic
This guy wasn't a problem.
yeah, totally super easy fight actually, for all of us, I'm sure. The basic thing is like the right and left allets and pauldrons have elemental weaknesses and can absorb things from the elements, and basically just focus on them first and then focus on Bartandalis.
Yeah, that's the basics, right?
Yeah.
Now there is I would say, even though there's not technically stages to this fight, I feel like they are in multiple stages, because the first part where you're fighting 5 targets at once and all 5 targets are doing things to you. Well, Bartandalis himself does not attack you at first. If you don't attack the pauldrons or the outlets, he won't attack you. If you don't attack them and you do damage to him, once he goes past a certain HP, he will start to attack you.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the other targets, he will just buff them instead.
Yeah, he can kind of shift their magic into a higher tier. So
yes, so you're kind of like running against the clock here, because you don't want to be fighting 4 targets that are all casting the Ga level spells on you.
Yeah, exactly. I think he also has a way of debuffing or dispelling the things that you put on, like the debuffs that you put on him, and then doing the magic amplification where they will all be doing way harder attacks to you.
Yeah, so you kind of want to try to melt through them as fast as possible, because the sooner you get this phase of the fight over with, the better you're going to be.
This is also a really good use case for a Librascope, because you can just immediately throw that at the beginning of the battle, have all of their information, and then kind of just do auto battle, so that way your team will be focusing on the target with their weakness and not accidentally giving them, they can absorb it unless they're imperiled, so you don't want to give them more health.
I do want to take back a little bit. It's not that he doesn't attack you, because he does have one move that he does use on you, which is the Thanatosian Smile.
Yeah.
But it is relative, not rare, but there's a certain amount of time in between him being able to use it. And it does a lot of damage, but you can Sentinel through it. And if you have a Sentinel in your party, the rest of the party should have enough HP they get that defensive buff to be fine.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do he's not constantly casting Ruin on you like he is after you start taking out the the other heads.
You are able to put poison on the ads as well, which can be helpful to deal a little damage throughout the battle as you're getting ready to focus on some different ones. But he does have a thing called Mystic Aura, I believe, which will basically just buff them up.
Yeah.
So like they can have haste casted on them, which is never good.
Right. But once we finally take out the 4 side targets and we're like one-on-one with Bartandalus, he does change his strategies a little bit. For one, he just starts casting Ruin all the time. Just constantly.
Ruin God.
Ruin God, yeah.
Which will just hit everyone in your party.
Well, he casts Ruin God, but he also has another one called like Death by Ruin or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's called something by Ruin. But it just casts Ruin over and over and over. Baptism in Ruin, that's it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it just casts it like 15 times. It's crazy.
I'm guessing that's the move that he used to kill all of his employees, right?
It's very similar, yeah. But he's not too bad there. He does do a lot of damage. Ruinga on its own can do a lot of damage. And he charges up for one called Destrudo, which I feel personally a little offended by Destrudo because I didn't know what it was gonna do. And like when it says he's getting ready to use it, he like charges up and he stops doing everything else, and there's like a real intensity to what's happening, and I was like, oh shit, I'd better just sit in Sentinel medic, right? Like, and just wait for this blast. And it takes like 30 seconds for him to like do it. It takes forever.
He does really show his hand here, which is very nice. But it can still just absolutely fucking destroy you.
I think when I was watching you play the first time, this took your party out, right?
This took lightning out, and I'm watching my footage back because I was like, okay, well, I clearly just fucked up. I should have done something differently. But like when that attack started, I was like, this looks like a thing that I should be using medic and sentinel for and everything. So I went into like the solidarity one, and I was attacking with lightning, and she had full health and still just died. So I was just like, at that point, I was just like, all right, I'm done for the day. I've been streaming for like 5 hours and playing through a lot of this. We'll get him next time. And then the next time that I went to go and fight him, I was expecting it to be like multiple phases and like a whole thing. And I was like, okay, I'll probably have to fight him game over a couple of times. And then, you know, once I get the strategy down, you know, it might take me like an hour or two. And then I beat him first try. I did play it extremely safe because I was like, I feel like I'm going to get to the end of this and then there's going to be another phase and then that's going to be a huge fuck you too. So I'm just going to, you know, really just play it safe. So I did really poorly in that fight, but I won. In terms of like the rating that I got, but yeah, it wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting.
I was able to survive Destrudo when it happened because that's the reason I brought Hope instead of Vanille, was I was like, I don't know what his stat weaknesses will be, but I can be assured that I can put Protect and Shell on myself. So instead of bringing somebody who's a Saboteur, I was like, I'll bring somebody who's a Synergist instead. So with Protect and it's Snow in Sentinel, even without like reducing the power of it, Destrudo only did about 75% of Lightning's health.
Destrudio.
But you can, and I found this out the second time, you can weaken Destrudo in the battle. You don't have to take its full force. When he begins charging for it, the game sets little flags of HP that if you do so much HP, it like halves the attack power of it.
Oh, wow.
So
if you get aggressive with it, then you're in better shape.
If you do 1,200 damage, he'll go, ugh, and like kind of like flap around for a second. He'll do the Seymour, yeah. And it'll like have the power of it. And then if you do another 20,000 damage, before he pops it off, it'll just fucking do nothing. Like it'll barely hurt you at all. And so like you can like weaken that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it as well because I think another one of his gimmicks is that he's immune to everything until you kind of get him into a stagger.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of cast some debuffs and everything. So by the time he was doing Susu Studio to me, the next time, I don't know if I hit that damage threshold or not, but I had also debuffed him with Vanille, so he wasn't doing quite as much with magic, and I also leveled up Lightning a little bit to where she had like almost 1200 HP instead of just like high 900, and she was
Okay.
able to take the hit and not die.
Yeah. But there's one more hilarious thing to this battle too that I didn't get to see, but the battle can only go 20 minutes.
Interesting.
If you reach 20 minutes, he just casts Doom on you,
Damn.
Oh, jeez.
which is like very, like, just knowing that is a little scary. Like, I didn't even come close, but like, Doom is scary in this game. There's no way to get rid of it. And like, if you die, you die. You know, it's over. Like, and so like the idea that Bartandalus can just snap his fingers and end the battle is kind of intimidating, even if you don't get close to seeing it.
Can we talk about Thanatos smile or whatever it's
Thanatosian
called?
smile, yeah.
Thanatosian smile, because it is
Or
fucking
Thanatosian laughter, apparently.
Oh, weird. Well, I'm looking
Why
at
did
the
I
one
say
that's
smile?
No, there is one called Smile.
It is. Okay, it's smile in this one. It's laughter in the next one. Sorry.
Okay. So with the
Spoilers.
smile, yeah, with the smile, his face just kind of like goes transformer mode and like peels back, revealing like 17 just comical like gun barrels sticking out of it that just shoot energy beams at you. It's really goofy and really funny. And then like once that's done shooting, it just like folds back in and his big old smiling face is there again.
me laying in bed next to Bartandalus. I bet he's thinking about other girls. Actually, in Bartandalus's head is just 17 guns.
That's a lot of guns.
Lots of guns.
He's not too bad, but I do feel like he's the hardest boss we've had to fight this far.
I think so. Like, I definitely struggled with other boss fights more than this one, but I can definitely see this being a stopping point for a lot of people, especially after
Yeah.
such a long section of just like them throwing a whole bunch of bullshit at you.
It also could be dependent on the party makeup, because
That's-
mine wasn't too bad because I had a good party, but I could imagine like if I was determined to win with a different party, it probably would be more difficult.
Yeah, that's also something to definitely consider. Is just like you have any option you want, so this battle could potentially be as easy as you want it, or just be significantly more difficult without you even realizing it, because you're just like, oh well, these are my party members that I like and I know how to use them, so I'm going to do that. But there's so much variety at this point that it's like there's only certain things that are really going to be effective, especially when there's a 20-minute time limit on this. And
Right.
the important thing is this isn't like an Eidolon fight or something where the target time is like 47 hours or whatever to guarantee you
Yeah,
get 5
yeah.
stars, even though you'll never hit that. But the target time for me was like 8 minutes and 59 seconds, and my battle duration was 11 minutes and 42 seconds because I was
8
just like,
minutes. That's so harsh.
yeah, right?
I
What
thought mine
yours?
was really harsh because I almost maxed out everybody, but it wasn't that low.
How much upgrading did you do on your weapons?
A bit. I mean, like, they're pretty upgraded.
Mine
you
was
know?
9 minutes. Was my target time.
Mine was even higher. Why did I get so much leniency?
Yeah,
Mine was
'cause
9 minutes and 50 seconds.
damn.
I also maxed out a lot of shit.
Yeah, because I don't think I was like Crystarium maxed out, but I did dump a lot into certain weapons. So maybe like
Okay.
weapon scaling has more to do with it. But yeah,
I'm just surprised because I did put some in to my weapons and my characters and stuff, and I'm like, wow, mine is really high comparatively.
yeah. I think my lowest weapon is like 12, and the other two are like 16.
Now, the other thing is, I did beat my target time by 30 seconds and
Nice.
still only got 3 stars. Go fuck yourself, FF13.
Yeah.
I did a good job.
I got 1 star, and I was like almost a solid 3 minutes higher than it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Come on, that's worth 4 stars at least.
I think I could have done that, but I was fully expecting there to be more after I got his thing down. So I was like, I'm just going to take it slow. I'm going to be,
Well,
I'm going to
that's
be
the fucking
defensive
thing.
more than offensive.
That's why I said that I was really mad at Destrudo, because I didn't know what it did. So I just sat there and like turtled for like a solid minute. I was just like, oh, I don't know what this is. So if I would have like pressed the advantage, I would have been way ahead of time.
I think you told me that as I was seeing it for the first time. You're like, okay, you got like 30 minutes before this attack actually goes off. And like, I was still just continuing on my thing. And then I got one shot by it and I was like, fuck this game. So he drops, or at least for me, he dropped an N-Tight ring,
Yes, I'll say that. Yep.
And an Aegisol.
which that is an accessory that will increase your resistance to every element, which is really nice.
That is very nice.
But it only gives you 10%. And when you level up, I think I started immediately dumping into that because I was like, that sounds really good. I started dumping into that, and it was like, you leveled up 1 level. It is now 11%. I was like, dude, fuck this game. I think the highest you can get is 25% at the star level.
I mean, a 4th out of every element ain't bad.
Yeah, that's not bad, but that also requires a lot of leveling up, and I'm not sure the specifics of this equipment and how much that would take, but I imagine it's a lot. But more importantly than that, I noticed that you can sell it for 60,000 gil.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, damn, that seems like it's probably a better investment, is to just sell it and then buy a bunch of upgrade materials for better shit to equip.
But speaking of like how, Alex, earlier you were saying that like the Calvinkus striker did not fade away and turn into like polygons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
After we beat Bartandalus, he does fade away into nothingness.
We
Fuck
got
that
him.
guy.
We killed the Pope.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Who is also a god.
We killed the Pope god.
Mission accomplished. The Sanctum is
That's
fucking in shambles right now.
And
we did it.
And Snow says, "Oh, a foul seed running the Sanctum." And Hope goes, "Oh, I guess it wasn't Eden controlling things after all."
And then immediately
the Primarch just shows back
says,
up.
"As I said, I am Lord Sovereign." It's like, this fucking guy again.
Yeah,
his voice comes in like almost like cutting them off because it's just like it's like a jump scare, but like an auditory one.
Yeah.
The foul seed running the Sanctum.
Then, I guess it wasn't Eden controlling things after all.
As I said, I am Lord Sovereign.
Really, really funny, and really like, and then here I was like, I knew it, dude. Another
and
phase.
stay up
Let's
there.
go.
And there's actually really like the next 2 lines quite a bit because I think it says a lot about the plot of this game. But Sazh says, "I guess foul seed don't go down as easy as the rest of us." And the Primarch says, "Ease is not the issue. You have not fought to win."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ooh, that's so interesting. Like,
Yeah,
we're getting ready to get a bunch of info dump like here in a second or whatever. And I think like, to me, I keep that in mind while I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, interesting. The way like this world works, just fighting the foul sea is not gonna cut it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we need to find the god-killing spear or something.
We gotta find the
like
Lance of
we didn't
Longinus,
fight
yeah.
to win. Like it's like we thought we were. We have not used the cheat codes to win.
He says after that, he says, "You should know quite well already the sure way of dispatching our kind, Ragnarok." And it's like, oh, uh-oh.
It's that special word.
And Fang says, "What's Ragnarok?"
She kind of winces under the word too.
When she says Ragnarok, she grabs her brand and is like in pain, right?
Getting real
and
spicy.
It's like, oh no, what does Ragnarok have to do with the like grayed out
brand? Yeah.
brand? Are they related? Oh no,
Probably nothing.
it's probably nothing.
And then the Primarch says, "Pitiful Lassie, you've forgotten your focus."
It's like, yes, we know.
Yeah,
We were trying to
we've
look
been
for
talking
it.
about it the whole time.
But then it once again becomes Final Fantasy X. Ragnarok is the beast one of you must become in order to lay waste to Cocoon.
There it is, and that's our focus, right?
Yep.
Like he finally explains what the focus was. You've had the dream. One among you will become that monstrosity, defeat Orphan, and destroy Cocoon. Which I think is the first time we've heard the name Orphan as well.
It for sure is, yes. Because
Yeah.
I was just like, the fucking Orphan of Kos from Bloodborne's here? Oh shit, I hate
Oh
that
my god, it's
guy.
gonna be such a hard fight.
He's teleporting around too while he's explaining this. But
Yeah, it's just flexing on everyone.
Lightning says Orphan, and Primarch goes, "The font of Eden's power. Orphan fuels Eden with strength, and Eden in turn sustains you and the rest of our kind. Destroy Orphan, and you'll release a force such as this world has never seen.
Cocoon will be torn asunder.
Yeah. So
We'll be
cool.
running up that hill to make a deal with Orphan.
Yeah. But I like this idea. Like, it's a very interesting idea, and we'll get into it more as the game continues, that the Foul Seas, or the Pulse Foul Seas plan, Anima, I guess, is to destroy Orphan, the center of all energy for Cocoon. But Daisley, who is a Cocoon Foul Sea, seems to be tight with that.
Yeah, he seems to be like chill with it. He's like, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, like instead of being like, oh, I have to kill you and take you out because you are going to destroy the world that I rule for all of my slaves, he's like, yo, you should become Ragnarok. That shit rules. Like,
it'll
wait,
be funny.
That's not right. Wouldn't that be funny if you...
Literally the Morpheus thing of like, come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me. Like...
How much would you pay for me to destroy Cocoon?
The Primarch is like, haha, you should kill Orphan. Ha, just kidding. Unless.
No, don't become a Seath.
No, don't become a
so
Seath.
sexy.
You're so hot. Yeah.
Oh, God. But yeah, it's like, while Fang is still, like, kind of bent over in pain, he, like, goes right up to her, kind of like doing his little teleporty thing right up into her face.
Yeah. And, yeah, she says, so if I did that... And the Primarch's like, your focus would be fulfilled. Destroyed Orphan. And yeah, Lightning's just like, so what? And fucking swings at him. And he just like dissipates and then like materializes like a couple feet over there.
He does a Goku instant transmission.
Yeah, exactly. He does the animators didn't feel like doing fight choreography in Dragon Ball Z. So they just had them flashing on and off the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Lightning says, so what? Who says it has to be?
Yeah, Snow's
Yeah.
got his like
Crystal.
Joker card that he's gonna win the whole game with. He just holds up Sarah's tear and says,
poor Snow.
he says, Sarah asked us to save Cocoon before she turned to Crystal. Save it, and that's what we're gonna do. Sarah was trying to tell us how to complete our focus, and we have. And as he's saying that, he gets cut off by the fucking Primarch just laughing
Primarch's
at
like,
him.
Yeah, he's like, shut up.
Allow me to help you see the truth of things. The moment you arrived, your friend wept crystal tears. This was because her focus required that you be brought together. That girl did nothing but assemble the tools for Cocoon's destruction.
And it's like, uh-oh, wah, wah, wah.
You hate to see it, folks.
Which, like, I think is like a good, like, little subversion or whatever, because we have been, like, operating under the assumption that, like, okay, Sarah has brought us all together. Her focus was to bring us together to save the world. And it's like, oh, wait, her focus was to bring us together to destroy Cocoon. Oops.
I think every single member of our party before this battle was feeling pretty hopeful about the future.
Yeah.
They're like, we have an attainable goal. We know what we're going to do and everything's going to be fine. And then they're like, this game is just like, no, we can't have everyone being happy. And like, we need to have someone in crisis. So now we're going to make Snow be in crisis by being like, no, everything you thought was a lie because you're dumb as shit.
I know. Oh my God. It is pretty, it's pretty devastating.
Now, having said that, as a big fan of Snow and also a dumb guy, I'm just like, nah, I don't buy it. I trust Sarah. Like, I'm still like fully like, no, fuck this guy.
I mean, she probably didn't have the whole picture either.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, she probably didn't know what her focus was.
Yeah,
Because she doesn't need to if it's her focus just to assemble
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
But it's interesting that, like, yeah, like a Pulse Fal'Cie would also want to protect Cocoon, but like, of course they would want to destroy Cocoon as far as we know, right?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all adds up and it all makes sense from what we're hearing. Like,
Yeah.
this is an instance of like the big bad evil revealing their evil plan, but in a way that's like, yeah, of course they would do that because like whatever their fucking plan is, it's like something like they need us for it, and
Yeah.
like of course
Why would the Pulse Fal'Cie want Sarah to help save Cocoon? No, you dumbass. Like,
yeah, like it's very much like a way too dank moment of your head just exploding. Like, but Snow is visibly shaken by this.
Oh, he's
obviously.
like looking at the tear, and
he's like, fuck, dude, I'm dumb
Yeah.
as hell again.
And the Primarch says, "Did it never occur to you, or did you simply refuse to countenance the thought? If you will not face the truth, then face the peril of your plight. Run, Lassie, and see how stark reality is."
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. But yeah, I guess Code White starts kicking in, or like the effects of it do, because the ship has just not been running for a while now.
Yeah, as this is all happening, he like
It
lifts.
ran out of gas just idling too long.
Yeah, it's just idling. Yeah.
He lifts his scepter up, and we see that owl circling around above us again, and kind of starts swooping down towards
sure
us.
do.
And like the shadow gets enormous, and Daisley just like materializes up into it, I guess, or into a ship that's
The,
above
the
there.
owl turns into a spaceship.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the owl turned into the spaceship or if the spaceship appeared above the owl.
Well, now this makes me suspicious that the ship we found at the gates was also a plant for us to find.
Oh yeah, no, everything leading us to this moment has just been like, oh, that was really convenient that we found this, or that was really
Oh, wow,
lucky.
we're
It's
so
like
lucky.
All
This-
this Lady Luck stuff, and it's like, literally, no, they have been pulling our strings the entire
It's
time.
real Truman Show shit going on.
Yeah.
Everyone's moving things around and making sure we end up in the right spot.
The ship is extremely blowing up. Like,
Yeah, no, the Palamacia is exploding. It is.
yeah, it's very
getting fucked up.
explodey.
But like we see Daisley kind of maybe get absorbed into the ship, but we have no choice but to get on the new ship, the small one.
I didn't realize that we got on the new ship
until we get to the next like cutscene.
Well, I had to read about it. I was like, oh, I guess they just have multiple ships, right? Like, I don't know what ship
That's what I
we're
assumed
on.
would happen. Is like it's like, well, that's the only way out of here.
That is what happened. The only way out is to get on the ship that Daisley has made for us
Luckily-
via his owl.
Luckily, the ship runs really well. The yoke is certainly not jammed in any way. And then we see Sazh is kind of struggling with the controls. And oh no, wait, I just remembered. He says, "This is bad. The yoke's jammed."
Oh no, this is bad.
But yeah, the whole Palamacia like is exploding in the background.
Snow's like, I knew it was a trap. This is, of course, it was.
Yeah. Hope mentions that something's coming.
And it's fucking Roche, baby.
It's weird. He looked like he was holding like a radio to his head, but like as if he knows like something's coming. But
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it's just his vibes.
yeah. He can sense Roche's vibes. Who is apparently alive. Didn't we see him get shot by 1,000 bullets?
We did, but it was also that very weird thing of like, we got out of that very precarious situation that was, we were surrounded by Sanctum, and
He got what you said.
yeah, we weren't
What to
sure who
say.
shot him or who killed him or whatever and stuff. So it's like, at this point, it's like, oh yeah, every time we've escaped, we can assume that was by their design.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Roche is in a real weird and cool spaceship thing. That's
What is he in?
I mean, it's the same thing that we fought with. It's like a subjugator, but it's a black one.
Is that a subjugator? Is that what that is?
It looks like a subjugator, like the one we fought with Hope and Snow, but it's just
yeah, it really does.
kind of a more souped up one, which makes me realize I didn't realize that this was a pilotable thing.
I didn't
thought it was
either.
just
I
a
thought it
creature.
was a like a living creature.
Yeah, but he shoots hella fucking missiles out of it directly at us.
He shoots hell of missiles, indeed.
And Sazh, despite yoke being jammed, is jamming the yoke enough to get us out of this with some barrel rolls.
We are not yoked.
Not yoked. Sazh is goated on the sticks.
Yeah, and this cutscene is just like another like dogfight cutscene, which is very interesting because I was like, I like that this is in Final Fantasy 13 because I don't think any other Final Fantasy would do this. Just give us like a multiple minute fucking spaceship dogfight cutscene.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what this ship is called?
Yes.
It's called the Proud Clad.
The Proud Clad. Yeah.
Oh. No, I want roast beef, you clod. So wait, the ship that Roche is flying or the one that we're flying?
The ship Roche is flying.
The Proud Clad, not the Proud Clawed.
Technically, we
Nice.
don't know this yet, but technically the one we're flying right now is the Minerva,
Oh, nice. Cool.
which is the name of the owl. We'll find that out. It's not a reveal. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably in the data logs, like
Yeah.
immediately after this. But yeah,
Got a nasty fucking face. But it's a very Star Warsy now where it's like, I have you now kind of moment.
It very much is, yeah.
Not so fast, Lassie.
yeah, but Sazh like kind of is just losing control of the ship, and then he's like, "What the hell kind of ship is this?" Because it's basically like Evangelion. The Eva unit is controlling itself, has nothing to
Right.
do with Shinji piloting it.
Yeah.
Also, Roche looks like he is wearing some apparatus. Maybe he is all full Darth Vadered up now.
Oh yeah, maybe he did get shot and fucked up.
But yeah, this thing's fighting on its own and kind of transforming and continuing this dogfight, even though Sazh isn't doing anything. Which I guess makes sense with him thinking it was jammed and us still like barrel rolling and stuff. I was like, oh damn,
Yeah.
Sazh is a really good pilot. He can fly a broken plane. The plane has no engine and he's still flying it.
Yeah, like there's some really wild moves where, we're just not we, I guess, but the ship is narrowly like avoiding missiles and stuff. But like we're basically dive bombing, and the subjugator, I guess the Proudclad does this really cool like break and then like has missile launchers that kind of spread out like floating around it. Like they're not actually attached to the ship. They're just kind of like little drones that launch missiles.
Yeah, it's a really cool animation. But Hope is like freaking out and he's like, hey, isn't there anything we can do? And Sazh is like, got me, I give up, which I'm like, yeah, at this point, I would also probably just give up. I would have given up like 5 chapters ago, probably, so I get it.
But that charging missile supposedly makes a direct hit, but it does a fake out where it does a dive bomb, like, oh no, they got shot down again, just like before we got Vile Peaks. But then it swoops back up and it has like a crystallized like force field around it, like a shield.
Yeah.
And Sazh, I was like, what the hell kind of ship is this? Fighting on its own? And he's like pounding at the controls because, yeah, obviously like Isley or Minerva is basically just giving us a freaking joyride.
Yeah. And while we're in this like dogfight here, and like the whole time we do see the Palamacia just fucking exploding to shit in the background, which is
Roche has no idea
joyous.
too. He's like, clever, aren't you?
But the battle gets close enough to a city, right? Which I was like, oh, that's probably Eden, maybe, but I don't know that it is. It's just a floating city.
Yeah.
So, you know,
very cool.
But it looks
looking.
very modern,
very futuristic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the city senses our approach.
Yeah, it puts shields up.
It starts putting like almost like different strips at a time, which I think is kind of cool. It's almost like they're kind of growing again, like this kind of weird crystalline technology.
Yeah.
But it looks like it welcomes in the ship, the Minerva that we're on, because it has those kind of landing/docking like glyphs, those waypoints. Then we just kind of go through them and pass through the shield, no problem, with Yag just basically crashing right into it.
Yeah, he crashes into the side. He can't get into it.
Yeah,
he's fine though. He kind of it bashes off of it like a pissed off bird.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm looking at this fucking city. It looks awesome.
Yeah, the city looks really cool. We see like a shot from like the street level where there's a kid looking up and he sees, our ship flying by, and we see our party as well, like looking behind us, and they're all like very confused. And then
we made it. Nothing go wrong now.
Before we go to the next cutscene or the next scene of this, while we're still flying through this town, I would just like to say that to me, I feel like this city, the design of it, to me, seems like, what if H.R. Giger was a utopian? What if he was like, everything's going to be all right? And
what if H.R. Giger was nice?
Yeah, what if he was nice? Yeah, what if he's like, I sure have good feelings about the future.
What if he used
a
nice subdued, like, soft gray instead of just awful, like, just oppressive, dark colors everywhere?
Because there's weird, like, it's very like skeletal, like the metal work is very skeletal underneath like glass or like translucent substances, which is kind of like a Giger thing, but it's very pleasant looking. It's very like optimist future. You know what I mean?
It's so pleasant looking that everyone in our ship is looking at it. And
the city is the world if meme that you see.
The world without lawyers.
This is the world in which you could buy a very cute xenomorph plush, and you'd be like, "Oh, he's adorable. I love him."
I was actually thinking I would really like a Bartandalus plush because it's such a weird design, and like when you see it,
it would be a very good pillow.
Like when you see it in front of you, it's so scary and stuff. But like, I was thinking about, I'm like, what if he was just like a little guy sitting on my desk? It'd be very cute, like squishy, like the big face and the big smile, even though it's like sharp teeth.
The way the heads are mounted, it makes me think of a freaking soft serve machine. You take the heads out, you just like put like a little, you could just like self-serve like some froyo.
Bartandalus is like, why the hell aren't they using Fira and Blizzaga and shit? And it's just like, oh, sorry, Bart, the ice cream machine's broken.
Yeah, one cast vanilla, one cast chocolate.
But yeah, Vanille kind of looks ahead at where we're flying, and there's a building right there. She says, like,
right in front of us,
Sazh, look out. And he turns around just in time to see that we are just rocketing directly towards this. Like,
there is not enough time to pull up.
A second Minerva has hit the South Tower, but luckily some strange energy just kind of like covers our ship and we like phase through it. Or
it's very Back to the Future.
Yeah, we Back to the Future out of here.
Yeah, we like teleport away.
Yeah. So I think,
and then we can save.
And then we can save.
I think.
What is the fate of the ship? Where did the Minerva go?
Who is?
What is next for our? Let's see.
Yeah.
1955.
Yeah, now we go to 1955, and we have to, and so the Lassie will have to save the summer ball dance under the sea dance.
Hope has to make sure his parents meet.
Who's the president of the United States? Ronald Reagan. Oh no.
Yeah, for everything that Marty McFly did in Back to the Future, he didn't take out Reagan. So,
yep,
he could have done much better for us.
Yep, he was pretty selfish with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Brown could have done it too, but he decided to go frickin' back to cowboy land and have a few kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, whomst amongst us, though?
Named Seamus.
Yes, Seamus, yeah. Yeah, but that is the rest of the Palamecia. That is the rest of chapter, what is that, 9?
I think that was chapter 9, yeah. I think we're on chapter 10 now.
There's only 4 more chapters of this game.
Oh, damn, really? Why did they only make 13 chapters?
Oh, weird.
So when we started this, I was like, okay, there's going to be 13 chapters of the game, obviously. And then I kind of got to all of this part, and I was like, you know what? Maybe there's just 17 or 18 or something. There's probably still a good bit of the game left. And it's like, well,
yeah.
The chapter levels are pretty arbitrary because some are fucking take forever to get through and others are super quick.
I think 13 is even just an epilogue as far as I know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If this chapter felt thick, just get ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the next part of it, I was just like, well, it only took me 30 minutes to beat that fight and watch all these cutscenes, and I was kind of planning on just doing this for the whole day. I was like, well, I'll just play through the entire next chapter as well. Yeah, and it still took a good 2.5 hours.
Did you get through 10?
I did, yeah. I got to the
okay.
boss.
Wow, that's right. You were playing that.
Yeah,
I haven't started it yet.
Spoiler: there's a boss at the end of this chapter.
A tough one, if I remember the last time I played it.
I guess maybe we'll have to talk about it next week.
I guess we will.
Or 2 weeks from now, depending on how long. I guess this section doesn't really have too much going on that would require that much. Who knows? We'll see.
That was the whole chapter? You played all the way through 10?
I assume. I got to a tough boss fight and then stopped.
All right. Well, good. That's that.
What a that was much more exciting than the last episode. A lot less death. I mean, except for everyone on the ship.
Yeah, except for all of our enemies.
Sorry, Flanborg. We barely knew you.
Oh, all those Flans.
No, they took the escape pods. I saw them get out.
I hope. They're like the one little pixel at the end of Super Metroid.
Their union called them up and they were like, you guys got to get the fuck out of there. They're like, the power just went out, get the fuck out.
But the Flanators, they wouldn't get off the ship. They stayed behind to heal people. Actual heroes.
Yeah, but they were healing awful people then, right?
Yeah, I mean...
They're pacifists.
I would say if you're not explicitly part of SciComm, you're probably just an innocent bystander who works on
Flan together strong. It's like Titanic.
It's like Titanic. Yeah, that's that chapter. It fucking ruled. It was really good.
I'm sure we'll never see Roche again.
I'm sure we won't.
I'm sure we'll never see Bart again.
And we'll never see Bart again. That's why they famously call that fight Bart 1. Because it's the one time.
Butts handless.
They do call it Bart 1, yeah.
That's weird that we that we beat this stupid ass fight and then the boss is like, all right, get in.
Yeah.
Get in, loser.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the wording of it. Get in, loser. We're going to
get in, loser. You're filling your focus whether you want to or not.
I was too dumb to realize that the Lassie had clearly gotten on the ship that Bartandalus called for us. Mm-hmm. But given that, and then given the scene afterwards where Sazh is like, oh, this thing is controlling itself. We're going wherever Bart wants us to go or whatever.
It could be one thing where part of the plan is oh, yeah, I left an escape pod for you and you think you got away.
Yeah.
But the fact that he didn't trust them enough to actually get out alive, so he actually had to escort them to their next location.
Yeah, just when we thought we were in control.
But like you were saying, Carl, earlier, everything up to this point has been pretty well led by the fallacy, where they've very much been in control, trying to get us together and get us to that point. And it kind of does give context to so wherever we're at now, after the ship has warped, we are just going to be going on like a tour of things that Bart wants us to see.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
It's also funny. It's also funny to just show the incompetence of SciComm, because their main mission has been to kill us and take us down, and they like their direct report is like the Pope, and the Pope is just like, oh no, like we're gonna put you in this situation where you can kill as many dudes as you want, and then we're gonna zip you out of there when things get a little too hairy, and you won't be able to help.
Does that mean if things went to plan, like on the SciComm side of things, to do a public execution, was the plan for us to escape, or the plan for right before just like cut transmission, like, nope, we're doing things our way? Like, as far as people outside know, they've seen the Palamisi crash. Do they think Daisley made it off or not?
Yeah, it's like it's very interesting to it's getting very like secret invasion. I feel like, where it's just like, oh, which one of you is a Skrull? Like, which one can we trust? Like,
yeah. Now, actually, there is going to be some back and forth about who is in charge of Cocoon later. So that's interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because that kind of becomes a thing.
The game is opening up in a very interesting and like hard to comprehend way after a long string of not being able to comprehend things. So it's pretty...
That's the thing, is I think this is the first part of the game where I can definitely understand people's complaint with 13, that like the story is just so fucking far off the rails. What is happening? Like, it doesn't make any sense. None of this matters. Like, it's all just random. And like, if you don't put your nose to the data logs a little bit, it can seem that way. But I do think that, like, since we have the three of us and we can kind of discuss motivation and like the scenes in greater clarity, it's keeping us a little more on track.
I'm excited to get into it more next week after like the revelation that happens there, because I was just like, I was kind of getting into that, but I chalk that up more up to like having like several days in a row of doing a lot of Final Fantasy shit and a lot of podcasting to be like, oh, I can't like wrap my head around this shit. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's definitely veering into that territory. I think it comes together pretty well, but like,
yeah, I'm excited.
No hate to anybody who is like, what is happening?
Oh yeah, anyone who doesn't like this game is completely like valid in that opinion. Like, you're valid in your wrong opinion. That's fine. This game's great.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I say to people, like, I'm probably enjoying it because I have two people helping me, like, understand it.
I probably am enjoying it.
It takes three people to enjoy it.
Yeah. If you want to play 13 and have a good time, you need three people.
You need at least two friends, which is a steep entry.
I mean, to be fair, I bounced off of Dark Souls many times until I started talking to you and our friend Robbie about it on the regular. And then I was like, oh, now I love this game. This game is the best game of all time. So that's the hint. If you don't like a game, you need two friends who play it.
That's the party. And
that's the party.
Yeah, our paradigm is a podcast.
What's our paradigm is a podcast? Wait, hold on. You put the paradigms in the Discord. Let me see. Let me see what ours is.
That seems like a embroidery you'd hang on the wall, like, this paradigm is a podcast.
Well, we're all a bunch of white guys similar age, so we're certainly not diversity. Oh my god, I know exactly what we are. We are Commando Saboteur, but the Japanese name for it. We are Calamity Circus.
New podcast name, let's go.
Fuck yeah, dude. Anyway, Alex, do you want to jam our yoke?
No good. Yeah, I can do that. Thank you, Masashi Amauzu, for the game music. You can leave us a review or rate us on iTunes and Spotify, and same goes for YouTube now.
Yeah, you can like our videos on YouTube.
Yeah, add it to a playlist.
Comment first, even if I did it first.
Even if I downvote them all.
Yeah, I should go start commenting first on YouTube videos where I'm clearly not the first.
That's going to be the new meta for 2023, is commenting first when you're far from being the first.
Go to our YouTube videos, comment who else listening in 2024.
I go into the public transactions on
Venmo.
On Venmo and just write first.
I'm gonna start going to some of our YouTube videos and just in the comments being like, yo, who else is here because of H3H3? Or like some big fucking like huge podcast. Yo, who else here because of Pod Save America? Does that shit still exist?
Probably.
Have they saved America yet?
Well, yes. You can call or text us at 530 Materia and ask us, Who else is listening? And you can find us at Every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. You can find links to those in the description. And you begged us for the podcast, and did it not come to pass?
See you, everyone.
Learn your place.
Bye-bye.